Let's go ahead. All right. So first off, I want to thank everybody for joining us. My name is Austin Victoria. I'm with the Downtown Long Beach Alliance. And today we are doing one of a series of 4 of our Grow with Google workshops with our Google partner, Roberto Martinez. And he'll be going today with you over a series of sessions to think about how to look at your website, your web pages, how to get yourself in front of different audiences and users, and how to engage them using many of the tools that Google provides. And the DLBA is happy to partner with them on this effort, and we hope to have other opportunities in the future for other workshops like this and different ones as well. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. If you can, it'd be great for you all to turn on your cameras. It makes Zoom meetings more interactive and interesting when we're able to see and hear you. If you have any questions, feel free to either raise your virtual hand or raise your hand physically, and Roberto is happy to answer those questions as we go along. I mentioned earlier that the session will be recorded and we'll make it available to all of you, and so we'll email it out when we're done with today's session, and also we'll have it hosted on the webpage so you can access at any point in time. And then lastly, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or again, raise your hand. The last piece I just want to say on DLBA is, we are a nonprofit focused on assisting small businesses within the downtown area, but as well as businesses throughout the city. This workshop is one way that we can have a wider range in terms of our support efforts. And so we plan on doing 3 more of these Grow with Google workshops, one in September, which will be this exact same workshop, but hosted in Spanish. So if you know of any Spanish-speaking individuals or primarily Spanish-speaking individuals, this would be a workshop for them that will be hosted on September 29th from 12 to 1 p.m. Our next workshop after that will be in October. That will be on October 20th from the same time, from noon to 1 p.m. It'll be Make Better Business Decisions with Analytics. And then the last workshop will be the same one, but in Spanish as well. So that will be one where we duplicate the Make Better Business Decisions, but specifically for those individuals who primarily speak in Spanish, but everyone is welcome to join. I will email that information out to all of you as well as the recording. So with that, I will go ahead and hand it over to our Google partner, Roberto.
Thank you so much, Austin. I apologize for the echo. My computer was glitching and just wouldn't connect. Very excited to be partnering with the DLBA. We've been partners for 4 years now, I think, 3 plus 4 years. It's an amazing partnership. We're here to help. We're local. Let me just present my screen and then we can get rocking and rolling. So today we're going to discuss how to reach customers, how to create search-friendly websites that drive traffic and meet your business goals. It's one of our newer workshops here at Google. I've been doing this for Google for the past 5 years. I can't believe it's been that long. And we're here to help small business owners learn how to use digital marketing tools that Google provides. And the training is at no cost to you as a small business entrepreneur. What I would love to do before we get started is just, if you wouldn't mind in the chat function, just letting me know a little bit about your company, about where you're at here in Long Beach or outside of Long Beach, just so I could start humanizing this presentation and actually drawing examples from your particular line of work into this presentation. It's 12:08. We have about 40 minutes to go through this presentation, and then I'll leave about 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A. If you think your question is great to hear and it cuts across multiple subject lines and other members of the audience find value, feel free to pause, raise your hand, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you're having. As I mentioned, been doing this for Google for 5 years. I'm a small business as well. I've been managing a digital marketing agency for the past 5+ years as well. And I've also created a software solution for small business to help them understand what's working, what's not working when you actually run digital marketing tools. All right, enough preamble. Let's get right into it. We know now more than ever, based on COVID, there's a drastic need to be online. And we have to improve what are called our touch points. A touch point is every single time you, as a business owner, touch your customer. Really important. So we want to always know, why are we touching our customer? What's going on there? And we want to understand how we can increase the likability of them actually buying from us. So Zip, thank you so much. Giovanni, I remember you from yesterday. Thank you so much for joining us. Silicon Valley, California, tutor doctor specializing in 1 to 2 tutoring. Absolutely amazing. Eliza, thank you so much for joining. Promoting Uber hipster clothing. Oh, I definitely need that. I am not that stylish. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so as we create and think about those touch points, we need to start thinking about how do we create a website that converts at a high level. And so there's a couple of things when it comes to a website. There's what's called UX and UI. UX is user experience and UI is user interface. User experience is the experience the customer receives when they land on your website. That experience has to do with the audio, with the visual, with the copy. User interface is how they move around the website, where they click, the different functionalities you have within the website. So here we have a high-level overview of what web design is. It embodies both UX and UI, your colors, your fonts, which is all about the experience, functionality, which is do you want to buy now, do you want to ship later? That's UI. And so we want to be very thoughtful and intentional in how we create our website. Today, we're going to talk about 5 different things. What makes a great website? First things first, we have to make sure that we're focusing in on why we have a website. So for those of us in the audience, feel free to, Marta, thank you so much. Plum 3MM, Creative Studios, absolutely love Creative Studios here in Long Beach, California. Please let me know, as we're going through this presentation, what the goals are for your website. So you can tell me right now, well, these are the top 5 goals I have for launching my website. Then we're going to talk, and then I'm going to give you what Google recommends as some goals that you can have and how we can use certain tools that Google provides us, like Google Analytics and Google Optimize, to hit those goals. Then we're going to talk about UX, UI in the lens of SEO, search engine optimization. And the more friendly your website is, the more likely it is to convert. Then we're going to talk about convenience. We want it and we want it now. We as customers want all the information immediately. We don't want to wait. And so how do we make a website that's super easy to use, intuitive to use, and quick? And what do I mean by quick? The loading time that we have when it comes to landing on the website. Last but not least, we're going to touch a little bit about organization and what's called information architecture. And what all that means is how do we structure the website? And last but not least, is it trustworthy? Can I trust your website? Let's say for those of us who are here, we have Eliza that sells actual clothing lines and urban hip clothing. Can I buy from you directly from your website? And one of the things as a consumer, I want to make sure that if I do submit my credit card information, it's safe to do so. So that is what we're going to be discussing today in our agenda. If anyone has any other questions or any other comments that they'll like for us to address, feel free to comment on the chat. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, yes, presenting our portfolio, providing information to clients. That's exactly right. So let's talk about those goals. I love it, Marta. What are those goals? There's a lot of different goals. Here's the top 6 goals that we think as Google that will really help you as your business gets growing online and on your website. All about the brand, make sure it's brand focused. Second is generating leads. Big distinction between leads and sales. A lead is a prospective customer that comes in but does not buy from you. And so we want to make sure there's as many leads coming into our funnel, i.e. our website, as possible. Sales is exactly what it sounds like. We're converting. So there's 2 different types of companies. Marta has a +3MM Creative Studio. That is not a buying a product, is a service. So how do you convert that prospective lead? Maybe it's phone calls, maybe it's a brochure, maybe it's a consultation, versus the urban hip retail company that sells clothing lines. You could sell immediately. I land on the website, I see a jacket I like or a shirt I like, I buy immediately. The other thing websites are really good at is re-engaging our customers. How many of us have gone to Zara, Macy's, H&M, and we are a loyal customer for those, or Nordstrom, Nordy Rack, whatever it is. We go back over and over again, specifically during season. So it's summer, winter, fall. What do? They update their website according to the season. Really important piece as we start developing our presence online. The other thing right now, because of the great resignation and the silent resignation and all these other things, right? It's attracting employees. We have some amazing, our agency, constantly recruiting talent, constantly recruiting talent, constantly recruiting talent. I cannot tell you how much time we spend. Probably 20% of our energy is spent recruiting talent. And one of the things that we have as a tool is our website. Well, we have a job listings page within our website where anyone can go and apply, because we're always looking for the best and brightest to work with us. And so that's a great way for you to bring in talent as you see fit. And then the last piece is customer support. There's a lot of different tools you as a business owner can use right now that's no cost to you, like a bot that runs on your website, so that prospective customers can have immediate interaction if they don't want to read through the website. So think about your call to action. A call to action is what you want the customer to do when they land on your website. You can bypass all of that just by having a little bot on the bottom right, which is a little icon that pops up and says, how can I help you? Do you have any questions I can help you with? And that expedites the process. Sometimes these little bots that you can connect to your website allow you to be pinged immediately. So you as a business owner can be pinged when someone's on your site and has questions for the bot, and then you respond in whatever fashion you want, on time if you want, that same second, providing that great customer experience. So Chantel tells us she has an amazing cupcake right here in Long Beach and currently in Monterey Park. Absolutely love the home-based gourmet cupcakes. Love it. Okay, so first things we have to think about when we're thinking about our website is, who are we creating this website for? So how do they act? How do they think? And how do they live? Why is this important? We have to identify our customer and then create customer personas. We're not going to touch a lot on customer personas, but it's important to think about customer personas because we want to create the website that speaks to our ideal client, our best client that's always buying from us. And if he has questions or she has questions, we want to create that content on the website so they can answer them, because we want to keep attracting that type of client. So it's extremely important for us to identify and define that customer and create content that speaks to their motivations and desires, because we know that's our ideal client. The more people that are look and feel and talk and walk like they do that land on our website, the more likely we are to drive a sale or to convert a sale. So we always have to have our customer in mind. Let me give you a concrete example of how this works. We worked with a nonprofit in the past. How many clients does nonprofits have? They have a lot. They have micro donors, they have volunteers, they have large donors that give thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those are three distinct clients. So they have to create three distinct customer journeys in the website that speak to those three specific clients. So you're the same way as a business owner. Chantel, you have a cupcake company. You have those folks that are buying small size cupcakes, for the family and their friends, maybe 3 to a dozen, half a dozen. But then you could also have corporate clients that buy, 50, 100 cupcakes. And so if you don't have those two different communications on your website, one for individual buy, one for scale, you're not doing a great job informing those customers and educating those customers on the difference that there is when you buy more than 50 cupcakes, let's say, or you buy half a dozen or a dozen, more than a dozen cupcakes. And so we want to start creating what are called SMART goals for our website. We want to identify what we want the website to do. So outline all the goals. We just create a list, prioritize that list, and then attach numbers to that list using this SMART methodology. So specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-bound. We want to increase sales by 15% in the next quarter. So that's perfect. Increase sales, got it. In the next quarter, that's time-bound. Is it specific? Very specific. Is it attainable? That's the question. Are your goals attainable? Is 15% too high or too low for you to hit? What's the average amount of sales you do through the website? Right? Let's say, on average, I sell, 100 orders a month. Okay, so then increasing it by 15% is increasing it by 15 new orders. That seems doable, right? But if you're saying, I want to double it, okay, that's 200 orders. What are you doing to double it? That's an example of a SMART goal. Or maybe your goal might be, I want to increase my email subscription, or I want to have prospective customers download my brochures. As a creative agency, maybe you want people to download your case studies. So that's one of your goals. In the month of September, I want 25 or 50 downloads. So how are you going to do that? That creates a structure for you to start aiming at your goals. Some other calls to action and measurable goals that you might have was tracking sales, collecting submission forms, phone calls, or just engagement. How much time are they spending on the website? Are they spending 5, 10, 15 minutes? More realistically than not, the average customer on the e-commerce website spends anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. On the service side, it's 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. Is your company showing that success? And if they're not, what can I do? Great question. You can create content that's relevant. Anytime you see what's called a high bounce rate, which is when the customer lands on your website and doesn't take any action and leaves right away, that means you're not telling them information they deem relevant to them. And so they go, they browse, oh, none of this is relevant to my needs, so I'm going to leave. That's why it's really important to understand your customer and create the content that's relevant to them on the website. So how can we do this? Great question. Google Analytics connects to your website and lets you track all these different metrics. How many people download your brochure? We could track that. How many people called you? We can track that. How long did prospective customers stay on the website? We can track that. How many people did not buy from you? We could track that. We could track almost everything on the website. Where did they go when they landed from the homepage? What are the steps they took to buy from us? All useful information. All we have to do to connect Google Analytics is go to Google Analytics. You have to have a Gmail account, open it up, sign in with your Gmail account, and then just follow the instructions and add the tracking code on your website. So a quick note, 2020, we had a version called Google Analytics 4, which is a little bit older. We updated most of Google Analytics to a different version. And so you might have two different versions. You might have one version, which is the older version, which is there's a lot of data there, a lot of information, or you might have set it up recently. So you might have a different tool set. Basically the same thing. One is easier to understand, one is a little bit more in depth, but they both do the same thing. So just wanted to make a quick note about that. So you might be asking, how do I set this up, Rob? Great question. You go onto your Google Analytics, you scroll, and you see a little gearbox. You click on that admin button, and it's going to open it up to this. Then you look at properties and you look at property settings, and right there it says tracking info. You click on tracking info, they're going to give you two pieces of information. The first one is called the universal tracking ID. That universal tracking ID is a set of letters and then a set of numbers that you can drop into the back end of your website. If you have Squarespace, Wix, Shopify, it doesn't matter. Now, if you created your own website or you're using WordPress, they actually give you the code, what we call script, and you drop that script into WordPress. But now WordPress has a bunch of plugins you can use, and you don't necessarily have to use the script if you don't have to. That is how easy it is to set up your Google Analytics, and then just make sure it's firing off and communicating with the website. Things that we can measure real time. So let's say you do a big campaign, you spend a lot of money on TV advertising, on radio advertising, on paid ads. You want to see what's going on right now. So what happens? This Google Analytics tool will tell you there's 5 people on your website. This is what they're doing. This is their age. This is their gender. This is their average income level. All that information you can see in real time. You can also track conversion. You might want to tell your website, I want to track how many people click on this particular button on the homepage and this particular button on the case study page. And I want to make sure every single time someone downloads my case study, I can keep track of that. Life cycle. So this is really important. On average, most companies that promote might give you as a customer a discount to acquire you. Why is that? Because they know that over the length of you using their product or service, you're more likely than not to buy their product and service multiple times. So Google might say, hey, would you like to put $1 evaluation on your prospective customer? And now we can tally how many customers are coming in, and what you consider what's called a conversion. And so all this piece of info, especially if you're an e-commerce site, for example, the cupcakes and the clothing line, Google can tell you numerical values of how much you're selling a given week, a given month, a given year. Really useful information. And demographics and tech, obviously we talked about that a little bit as well. They'll also tell you, are they on their laptop, on their desktop? What kind of mobile device are they using? All relevant. So when you start thinking about who is my customer, 90% of my customers use iOS versus Android. That's good to know, because now I know if I'm going to advertise, maybe I want to advertise towards iOS as opposed to Android. All right, let me stop there, see if anyone has any questions, because that's a lot of information. All right, I'll keep going. The other tool that we have is called Google Optimize, and then lets you do A/B testing on your website. You'll be surprised how much just changing the color of a button will affect your conversion rate. If you have a lot of traffic coming into your website, let's say 100 people a given day, you change one color from red to blue, and you keep and then tell Google, I want 50 customers to see a red button, and I want 50 customers to see a blue button. And you can literally track how many of those customers clicked on the red over the blue, or vice versa. Very useful when you build out your web dev team to do these little increments of change. Now, this is really useful if you have a full-fledged company that's, selling thousands of dollars a given day. And even that little 1 or 3% change adds up over time. That 1%, let's say it goes, if you do blue, there's a 3% higher conversion rate. Over a month, that 3% can really add up. And this is a tool that you can use to track that and to change your website. You can have your constant and your variable to see if that changing of the website is going to help you convert your prospective customer. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to make your website search friendly, which is all around SEO. So we all know how Google works, right? We go on Google search, we type in our search words or search phrases, and the answers pop up. Over the past year and a half, we've seen an exponential growth. That means like a doubling of people using Near Me Now. What does that mean? That means all businesses local. We are going to look for different services that we need, and we're going to type it in our phone, and we're going to say, okay, well, what do I need? Well, I'm really hungry. I want Mexican, or I want Persian or Mediterranean. And we're going to type in Mediterranean near me. So you want to think about those keywords and key phrases that prospective customers are using. How does this look on your end as a customer? You type in that search query using a keyword or a key phrase. You see an ad pop up and organic results on the bottom. Great for you to understand as a customer if Google answered your question or not. As a business, we want to think about how we can make sure that Google sends organic traffic to our website. So here's a couple of things you can do. First one, make sure your website loads quickly. You want to make sure you focus on that. We want quick turnaround time. We don't want to wait as a customer. If you're making us wait to load your website, we're going to leave. Useful content. Once the customer lands on the website, do they stick around? Yes or no? Are they looking through the information? Yes or no? Rich, informative content assures that the customer is learning what they want to learn and taking the action they want to take when they land on your website. If you're not providing content that's relevant to them, guess what they're going to do? They're going to leave. And guess what Google's going to say? Well, this website wasn't a good idea. Why did I refer this prospective customer to you as a company if that information that they landed on didn't solve the problem? How does Google know this? Because if you left right away, that must mean that the information on the website wasn't useful. Just think about your own customer experience when you go to a website. If you like the information on the website, you stick around. If you don't like it, you leave right away. So you want to make sure you have a low bounce rate. Now, all things being equal, there's always exceptions to the rule. What do I mean by this? E-commerce. How many clicks does it take to buy something on Amazon? Anyone? Show of hands. On average? 3. Anyone else? Giovanni, 1. 1 click. If you're already logged into Amazon and you land on Amazon and you know what you want, 1-click purchase tool on Amazon. Boom. clicks are currency on websites. What do I mean by this? The less clicks it takes for my customer to take the action he needs to take or she needs to take, the more likely they are to buy from you. If you go to Best Buy, it takes like 10 clicks to buy something, versus if I go to Amazon, it might take 3 clicks. I'm a customer. I want to get that information as soon as possible and take care of what I need to take care of and go on to live in my life. So we want to make sure we use content that's relevant, informative, and we create information that allows them to take the action immediately. Call us now, email us now, set up a consultation now. Text links is also very important. The Google algorithm, the search bot, cannot read and cannot see images, but what they can do is read the copy of your website and read the code of your website. And so anytime there's a hyperlink, it's going to put emphasis on that. Where are they hyperlinking to? Is this information relevant? And so if you have a keyword like best cupcakes in Long Beach, and then within your website, you have the top cupcakes in Long Beach, right? Then Google's going to say, that's a match, and it's going to give you a bonus point or an additional point to drive the traffic of the person who typed in that phrase on the search query.
Hey, Roberto.
Yeah.
We have a question in the chat, so I just want to make sure we address it.
Yes,
so,
yeah. Eliza.
How do you advertise to iOS or to Android? Is there an indicator associated with each device? And then a note, I'm a writer, but not so keen on tech.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. You can use Google anytime you use an ads platform, they're going to show you the differentiation. Usually the reason why this was a big deal 10 years ago was because the income level of folks that had certain phones was higher than the income level that folks that didn't have that type of phone. So this is 2013, 2015, keep in mind. iOS on average has a higher income level than Samsung or Android versions. And so what marketers realize is, okay, I want this type of early adopter, technology first client. And so they'll go and they'll advertise on what? On when you made apps on the iOS, and they launched their apps on iOS versus Android first. So they beta tested their applications and they went an iOS route as opposed to the Android route. Once they figured out all the bugs, they flipped over. That still holds for the most part. So that's really what we're talking about in iOS. It gives you an idea of the makeup and demographic and ethnographic and psychographic of your client. You get better insight now. Okay, well, if most of my folks are on Android versus iOS, what does that tell me? So I can't really dive into your particular industry, which is as a writer, but as you're thinking about as your product or services, why make that distinction? That's why you would make that distinction. Great question, Eliza. Information architecture, we talked about that, right? We talked about what direction we want the prospective customer to go if they're a corporate versus a mom that's buying cupcakes. So we need a signal to them, go to this page if you're a corporate account, go to this page if you're a small business, or if you're an individual that just wants to buy something for their birthdays. Or you could segment it based on that, right? Your website will be like holiday cupcakes or festival cupcakes or event cupcakes. That signals to your prospective customer exactly where they should be going, as opposed to just like cupcakes, right? Hey, do you want a cupcake? Well, I guess, but if you say, do you want a cupcake for, what's coming up in Labor Day? Get ready for Labor Day for your barbecue, blah, blah, blah. So you start segmenting out the audience for Labor Day. What's coming up? Halloween's coming up. Hispanic Heritage Month. Maybe you have a big campaign around Frida Kahlo, and you're like, hey, we're doing this, Hispanic Heritage Month campaign. You're segmenting the audience in your website according to what information you deem relevant to them. And then browser. We want to make sure the browser works across multiple platforms. Okay, so you want to know how Google thinks. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how Google thinks, right? As we think about the way the Google bot is reading your website, we have a tool called Google Search Console, and that allows you to connect to your website to get an insight into where you rank within the organic search. So if someone's typing in cupcakes or bakery, do you pop up on the first page, second page, or third page of Google? Now, 3 years ago, Google Search Console will tell you you're ranked number 3 or number 5 or number 20 or number 30 on the Google search. They moved away from that now. They'll just say you're highly ranked based on your search queries. You're like top 1%, 3%, 5%. Still useful information. What you can also do is submit what's called their sitemap, which is the structure of your website, how it's structured, like home, services, products, about us, contact us. That's a sitemap. You could submit that to Google Search Console so that the Google bot knows exactly how to read your website. And the faster it reads it, the more likely it is to understand what you're saying and send organic traffic to your website. So it allows your Google bot to, or the Google crawler to search your website faster and index it. It's going to benchmark your website versus other bakeries. It's going to say, okay, well, how does your bakery website rank according to other websites? Are you the best information, the easier to use? And they'll rank you against them. And they'll say, well, this is a great structure of a website, tons of traffic, tons of people engaged in the website. We're going to keep sending organic traffic because Google search engine, all it cares about is organizing the world's information. And how does it do that? It can't do that because it doesn't create websites, but what it does do is it ranks websites. It says your website is well organized, well structured, great content, user-friendly. Well, and people are finding the answers to their problems. So let's keep sending people over to that website because that website is informing the customer. And we are going to keep getting traffic coming to Google search because we're directing them to their answer. Really important stuff there. So it's very easy to set up. Just go to gtalkhole/search console, add your web property, and update your sitemap. And it'll scan it very quickly. And this says, do you approve? Yes, you do. And then you're off to the races. And they'll give you like a monthly or bi-monthly report if you want that. Not going to dwell on this too much. If you use Google Chrome, it's a very useful tool to inspect if your website is responsive. What does this mean? This means if you're on your laptop, the website formats to your laptop. If you're on your desktop, the website formats to your desktop. If you're on your mobile device, it formats to your mobile device. That's all this particular tool means. I wouldn't dwell too much on it. It's useful, but most of us have, a third-party website platform that automatically does this for us. So we don't really have to dwell on it. Many moons ago, we would have to create our greenfield website out of scratch. And they used to be very expensive websites. Now you could kind of set up your website for a couple $1,000s. Okay, how do we make our website convenient? We know what happened with COVID. Everything shut down, people cannot visit your store. So it's now more than ever important to be online. What else did we learn? People love the little devices. What's the first thing you did when you woke up today? I'm guilty of it. We reach for this phone, right? We're attached in the hip to this phone. So Google knows that. And so 25% of shoppers are going to go online, are going to go using their mobile devices as opposed to their home desktop. So we want to make sure that the mobile experience is great, responsive design, easy to pay, convenience, customized recommendations to the prospective customer. We want to make sure when they land, we're not using heavy images that have a lot of space required. So for example, if you have a video and the video is 1 terabyte, let's say 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes, that's going to slow down your website. It just is because the website has to load that information. So always aim for speed. Less is more on websites. Get to the point. Make sure you apply accessibility standards and fonts and sizes. It's always going to help your website be more user-friendly. Make it easy for prospective customers to buy from you. The checkout window, super important. Make sure they could use their credit cards or other third-party platforms they might be using already, like Google Play, PayPal, Amazon Pay, you name it. You want to incorporate and integrate those third-party POS systems to your website. You also want to provide recommendations. And what do I mean by this? You want to provide them with, hey, you like this product, here's 4 other products that you might also like. For the clothing line, hey, you chose this particular shirt. Here's 5 pants that go along with that shirt, as an example. You want to communicate value to your customers. So one of the things you can do is talk about curbside pickup for those cupcakes, fast and cheap delivery services if you can, virtual consultation for those of us who are providing consulting services. Even when it comes to creative design, I found that talking to the customer, because the customer has a perception of what that is, and you know what that is because you live it every day, having a 15-minute consultation when you answer a question is going to help you better understand the customers that are going to convert versus the customers that don't convert. For those of us who want to figure out how fast our website is and how to improve our website when it comes to mobile, there's a tool called Test My Site. So if you go on Google and you go on Google search and just type in g.co/test my site, you can drop in your website and Google will do a quick search and then give you recommendations on how to improve your actual website speed. This tool will talk about like how to increase the speed, how to improve the copy, if there's any broken links, any broken pages on your site, useful information at no cost to you. So like I told you, tells you the speed, gives you personalized recommendations on how to engage your customer, and gives you a ranking. They used to give you a letter grade. Now they moved away from the letter grade and gives you a numerical grade on how to, and then it gives you recommendations. Here's the 5 things you can do to improve that online experience on mobile devices. Okay, that was a lot on the SEO piece. Any questions on that? All right, you guys are like, let's keep going. I love it. All right. Information architecture. I kept talking about making sure you have a clear-cut roadmap for the prospective customer. The way I always think about this, because I'm, I'm a fatty, not a foodie, and I love grocery shopping. I absolutely love it. So, when you go to the grocery store, there's a bunch of aisles, and it's like, hey, here's like dried foods and pasta and bread and produce and down the line. It's signaling to you as a customer and a consumer what aisle you should go down. The same applies for your website. You want to signal to your customer, hey, if you want to learn about our company culture, go to our teams. If you want to learn about how to contact that, go to a Contact Us Now page. You're signaling consistently to your customer on how to get the information that they want. And that's all we're trying to do. Give them the information they want so they could buy from us. What's really important? Pages, right? Title pages, clear-cut title pages, clear-cut calls to action. Tell me what you want me to do when I land on your website. What is the first thing you want me to do? What is the second thing you want me to do? What is the third thing? So within your website, when you land, do you have a call to action? Call me now, download this brochure now, set up a consultation now. And as I go down the website, I have more calls to action depending on what's my secondary and tertiary goals. So always important. So Google Analytics will actually tell you where your customers go when they land on your homepage. So once they land on your homepage, Google Analytics will tell you they went to these 5 pages and then dropped off, and they went to these 2 pages and then dropped off. That's going to help you know if your actual content is relevant or not, and maybe what you should be building out and what is an organic path for that prospective customer. So a good tool to use to think about the content that you can create is called Google Trends. Google Trends allows you to search for keywords and key phrases and see how popular those keywords and key phrases are. So for example, fall's coming up. I can tell you right now, pumpkin spice lattes, everyone loves it. But what about pumpkin spice cupcakes? What about just regular pumpkin cupcakes or apple cupcakes or blueberry cupcakes? You could type in all those words in Google Trends and it'll tell you how many people are searching for these words and what's the popularity of those words according to your city, your state, and your country. Really, really useful tool. And it'll tell you exactly what's the popularity and how popular are they within your region. And why is this important to us? Because then we can make sure we adopt those keywords onto our website and use them on our website because we know they're very popular. All right, last but not least, trustworthiness and security. So we want to make sure our website is SSL certified, very easy to do. Your web developer should be able to take care of that. And that's just authenticating the identity of your site and letting users know it's secure. The second piece is making sure that the customer can pay online if you are selling online. So the secure payment model, very important to communicate that value to that prospective customer. Another thing that helps build reputation and trust is business reviews, making sure your prospective customer sees how many people love your product with reviews, ratings, like are you top 5? Are you like the best, accountant in Long Beach? Are you the best clothing line in Long Beach? Whatever that happens to be. And then the contact information. Hey, we're here to help. Feel free to reach out to us, call us directly. All right. With that, I'm going to talk about next steps and give you some resources, and then we can open it up for some Q&A. We want to set up the goals. What gets measured gets done. We hear it 1,000,001 times. So measure the success that you want. Measure what you want your website to do. We have measurements within our website and our clients' websites. We always say, okay, what do you want your website to do? We want it to sell. Okay, that's not enough. How many sales do you want a given week, a given month, a given quarter? Make sure it's search friendly. Connect to Google Analytics, connect to Google Search Console. Test the speed of the website. Make sure you organize the information in the website and add different calls to action that are relevant, and secure your website. We have a free app called Google Primer. It allows you to learn at your own speed. It's in English, Spanish, and we recently launched one in Portuguese. For those of us who want to get upskilled at no cost, we just launched a new program where if you're a small business and you want to learn these 5 different certifications, you can at no cost. It's a free grant Google's giving to small businesses. And so you could upskill yourself and other employees, and they can learn about any slew of these subject matters. It takes about 3 to 6 months to learn, and Google right now has a grant that allows you to apply for it. If you do have your Google business profile, guess what? You can get a free media kit that Google sends to you directly to your office space. It gives you stickers. It gives you a bunch of little swag, pins, and flyers, so you can promote your company offline. I'm not going to touch on that. Obviously, connect with us. We have a bunch of YouTube videos where you can learn on your own speed. At Grow with Google allows you to learn as you are going through your experience. Eliza says, can you only the reviews you wish to publish? So Eliza, it's your website. You can only use the reviews you want to use. As a matter of fact, what I tell my clients is call your best clients and ask them for reviews. Ask them like, hey, can you give me a review? Can I use your face? And can you tell me why you used us? And then they'll say, yes, of course. Here's my phrase. And then you use that to promote your company at the bottom of the website. That's called testimonials. Social validation is another term for them. Really, really useful stuff because you want to build that trust. And with that, I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I want to see if anyone has any questions. We have about 10 minutes of Q&A. If anyone has any questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. No questions. All right. All right, Austin. That is our presentation. Can we get the slides? Austin will be more than happy to share the slides. We'll PDF and send it over to Austin, and Austin will be happy to share them with you. No, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time. Sorry for the earlier hiccup.
Thank you, Roberto.
Thanks so much. Sorry, Austin.
No, you're good. You're good.
I just wanted to say thank you. This was the most helpful and useful information. Thanks.
Great. I'm happy you guys got something out of it. Makes me happy.
So like Roberto said, we'll get the slides out as well as the recording of this presentation to you all, so you can review at your own time. Also, just a reminder that we will have a couple of other workshops coming up in September, October, and November. Those dates and times will be included in the email. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us.
So long, guys.